Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Now that's how you avoid a late fine.
That's
late
right.
bill. You show up to Newark Airport and you brave the elements in the upper Northeast, and you jump on the O-Line Committee from the airport.
Yeah, I'm here in the Delta Sky Club, so I'm probably going to get some really weird views and some interesting. I tried to find a corner, but you're going to hear also like the, hey, dun, 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 welcome to the Newark Airport. Please maintain your bag at all times. So, yeah, that's going to happen. But no, dude, I am finally thawed out. Yesterday was freezing. I mean,
tell us about it.
Dude, oh my gosh. It wasn't bad at the beginning, but like the sun peaked out right at the like halftime. You're like, oh, warmth. And then immediately went down and it just plummeted temperature.
Oh.
It got so cold.
It
was
Wow.
brutal.
So, yeah,
But it
so
was fun. I mean, it was a
Jay,
good game.
for those that don't know, Jay was at the Giants Commanders Tankathon Bowl yesterday. And
Yes, he was.
It was a hard-fought battle. Jackson Dart in the blue tent again. A lot of
You don't
drama in
say.
that game
He only made
yesterday.
one appearance though. There, that's okay. We're moving. We're getting better. But seriously, hit him with an Eddie Haskell for showing up like this and absolutely getting you to just be like, by the way, Jay, great
Eddie
showing
Haskell.
up. Oh, that's an Eddie Haskell.
Hey, at
sure.
least I made it on here with a better connection than your nonsense you tried to pull last week at Arizona.
Oh, listen. When you're in the desert, you just go with whatever they have, okay? That's all I know.
Don't get sensitive now. I mean, don't get sensitive.
Dude, the best
Some
part
of
was-
us are professionals, some of us are.
As soon as you
help
muted
that.
me, Emma texted me and was like, tell him to stop hitting that goddamn bell. I was like, I can't, I'm muted.
She was downstairs with the kids, and so she just kept hearing me in there, just ding,
Bang, 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 bang.
ding. Stop it.
Mackie couldn't help but talk about his Vikings.
Well, we'll get
We'll
there.
get to
there
those
here in a
guys.
second. In fact, we'll do it in an indirect way for our Minnesota audience. We'll see if Jay can do a mystic read from the Newark airport right now. This would be very exciting.
Hey, listen, for the New York audience, this doesn't make a ton of sense. But for our Minnesota-based audience, let's talk about the Mystic Lake game day experience. From kickoff to the final whistle all season long, Mystic Lake has giveaways and a fan experience that bring the energy of the stadium directly to you. If you plan on going to the Vikings game, you can just hop on a $15 round-trip shuttle from there to U.S. Bank. No parking, no hassles, smooth travel. Or you can just hang out at Mystic Lake at the Hop House, where they got great food specials, drink specials. It's fantastic there. When the game's over, you take that shuttle back there. You just relax and keep the celebration going, right? Pick one of the luxurious hotel suites. It's perfect for tuning into a great game day, into an unforgettable getaway. So whether you're a diehard fan, just love to thrill the game, we've got something for everyone. The Mystic Lake, every day is game day, whether it's for the thrill, the food, the fun. It's your time to play. Visit mysticlake.com.
Wow, look at that. Professional right there.
Professional even at the airport.
Professional.
So-
Now, people around me are probably like, what is this idiot
What the
doing?
fuck is
What
this
is
guy
that?
talking
He's like
about, right?
He's promoting casinos.
What a degenerate
and he's-
trying to get everybody at the casino. God.
He's slinging.
Who wants to go to
kids
Mystic
before-
Lake?
Half of the people there are literally looking around like, what's Mystic Lake? Seriously, you've never taken me.
Tony, you never take me anywhere. Why don't we go anywhere?
What's
When are we
this
gonna do
fucking
dates?
place he's talking about? Mozzarella sticks?
Ooh, Hop House.
So,
Little Hop
Hey,
House.
our goal today is to get Jay to laugh all day so that people wonder what he's doing on the phone. I want everybody around him, I want people to look in the camera and be like, who's he talking to?
I'm just waiting for the shoulder tap. Be like, can you shut the hell up? I'm so sorry. So sorry.
When you're in New York, they're going to look at you and be like, yo, man, shut the fuck up. You're going to be like, I'm sorry.
Sorry. So, boys, every Monday we do our Who's the Mics. We go through the mic, identifying the most important things on our mind around football. I'm just there's so many just ravaged Hall of Fame ACLs to sift through here. Let's start with this was the worst day in the modern history of the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I don't think that is hyperbole.
No.
Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL on the same day that they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs with 3 weeks to go in the season. So my question to you guys is what next going forward for the Chiefs? What does all of this mean going forward for the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think the hardest part to look at was watching Chris Jones at the podium in real time find out they were eliminated from the playoffs, right? Because he was trying to do the whole rah-rah, hey, we still have a fighting chance. There's stuff to play for. And one reporter was like, actually, no. And you could see the like light.
He's like, "Oh, we
drain
are.
from his
We're
eyes.
out."
I actually think this is silver lining wise. This could actually be a good thing in a way of that it's a true hard reset, right? Like, and you don't go through this phase of like we're going to be a competitive rebuild, which I know probably triggers a lot of people that watch this show. But like when you have Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones, and like you always want to be competitive, but now you're going to be like, listen, our quarterback's done. Kelsey's moving on. We're going to have a true changing of the guard in 2026, and it's going to look very different. And you can actually brace people for that. And so, as it's dark and gloomy, and as dark as it's ever been, you look at it from a more long term perspective. Like, it might be nice that it's just this true clean break in January, and you can truly hit the hard reset button for 27. Now, losing Mahomes, no one ever wants to see that. I know I poke fun at the Chiefs all the time. I'm not a Chiefs guy, but like I'm never an advocate for someone to get hurt, especially one of the game's greatest, right? And so that sucked, and that's a pain that he's not even going to really be ready for the start of the season next year. However, again, for Kansas City's sake, looking at this as a true hard reset year in 2026 and planning for the next run of the dynasty, you can see that there's some silver linings to this.
There definitely is, but like you said, losing Mahomes to an ACL, the minute that they lost him, it was like the season was over, right? All of a sudden, Gardner Minshew comes in, he throws an interception at the podium trying to be like, "Oh, no, we're good." And it's like, no, dude, it's over. Like, you've lost 15. There's no chance that any of you are doing anything. And, oh, by the way, I think Rashee Rice might still be dead. Did you see the hit that he took? That I was like, oh, my. Like, for
that's
for
2
years,
weeks in a row.
Hey,
That's 2 weeks
for
in a row. He's
years.
got crushed.
People have been saying, bring violence back. And it's like, I think people are finding a way to bring violence back because that game was extremely intense and chippy. And it was super fun to watch because it was competitive. And you could tell that the Chargers weren't just going to give up. And yeah, they lost 2 tackles, and they're like, we're going to find a way to get this done. And they did. And credit them for actually knocking the Chiefs off. And to be fair, Mahomes was driving in the last drive, and it was kind of like, what's going to happen? Right? And Jay, I don't know if you saw it, but like as soon as I saw him miss that step, I was like, he tore his ACL. And they were like, maybe he's okay because he's walking. And I was like, they don't know that you can walk on a torn ACL. Okay, listen, everybody. It's not that you can't walk on it, right? It's just the fact that it could just completely crumble underneath you at any moment, so you have to be extremely careful. And so going into the locker room, I'm sure that team still had a lot of faith going into it, but like, obviously today looking back, they're like, yeah, no. Even if we had won that game, going forward, when you watch Gardner Minshew continue that drive, you're like, okay, it looked good at first, and he throw that interception, you're like, that looked really bad, and it was a bad throw, and it was one of those things where it was like, I don't know that you knew what you were doing, and you look at this year, and it's just been too much of that for them. And like Jay said, going into the offseason going, hey, this is a hard reset for us, is going to be their mindset. And maybe it's something that they've needed. They've been the Kings for 10 years and been insane. What happened? What'd you get an update about?
It's confirmed Micah Parsons also tore an ACL. Confirmation just came out.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean,
this might be one of the worst days in modern day, Mackey.
All-time quarterback and all-time edge rusher, or at least headed that direction for Micah Parsons on the same day. And there's a whole, we'll get to the Packers part of this. The Rams with Devontae Adams re-injuring the hamstring. I feel like the top of the NFC was kind of
Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua's hurt too. He got that weird spinal, like where like he got up funky and fell back down. Like, it's amazing, and this is what makes the NFL so great. I'm not saying injuries are great, but everything can flip on its head in one Sunday. It's all it takes. Like at this point in the year, everything can flip on its head in one Sunday, and now the whole landscape of the NFL has changed. And that's what makes this game so great. It's what makes this league so great. It's why you have to show up, and every game that you win in October matters, because if you falter one in December, it's why every game in September, October, like you can look at those games and go, oh, playoffs are miles away. But when it comes down to week 18 and you're a half game behind, you're a full game behind, you're like, frick. Like if we just would have not dropped that game to the Browns, look where we could have been. Like it's what makes this game so great. It's why I love the NFL so freaking much.
So true.
It is wild. Just like last thought on the Chiefs here, I feel like it even going to the Super Bowl last year, it was very obvious that they were winning a ton of one-score games. There wasn't the wide margin between Chiefs and league as there was earlier in the dynasty. But with head coach, quarterback, tight end being all-time in their respective areas, they made it work. And for a while this season, it looked like, oh, they've got a couple extra weapons in there. This is okay. The defense has been top 10-ish in the league the last couple, and I fell into the trap of, oh, this is a better Chiefs team than a year ago for like a 5 or 6 week stretch in there.
Yep.
But then sometimes you watch them, and it's almost like the exhaustion and the weight of 7 years of doing that every single year and getting to at least the conference championship game and the Super Bowl and the off-the-field commitments that some of them are brought on by your success and some of them are just like, oh, you're famous and you get to be with Taylor Swift now and everything that goes with all of it. It looks like a team that just absolutely, from an injury standpoint and just from carrying the entire league on their shoulders for 7 or 8 years, just like hit the wall and needs to take a timeout and figure out what's next.
You know who looked the most like that was Connor Patrick yesterday. Like he just seemed a little more flustered. He took that tough sack by Owe that just drilled him from behind, and he looked like he was just running more than normal, but looked like he was running more frantic. And obviously, like you said, Mackey, for years they've been kind of doing this, pushing this rock up the hill, and you've been playing so late into the season, and everyone's relying on Mahomes to do his magic, and oh my gosh, where is it? It's going to come out eventually, and oh look, there's Taylor Swift, and it's like eventually everything was bound to catch up with them. And it's wild to think that they pushed so far this year because they could have been knocked out, 6 weeks ago, and they've been fighting so hard that it literally took the entire league. It took Patrick Mahomes to tear his ACL for them to not make it. And that's what's insane, is like they're so creative and they can get away with like at times having a great defense, at times having a great offense, at times just letting Mahomes do Mahomes things. But now it's like you don't have him anymore, and you weren't going to go anywhere. Like it's crazy to think that one guy, because we always say this, like one guy never makes a team. And it's like, but this one guy might have made this team. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, there's this generational talent, and we always say this, and that's why it drives Jay and I nuts, because it's like, no, this is the generational talent, right? Like this guy, this one person has been carrying this one team, and yeah, at times his offense has struggled, but for the most part, it's always like, what's he going to do to beat this team that people are going to go, I knew it, or we should have seen this coming, or why didn't you hit him before he ran out of bounds, whatever it is.
I wish that we had like someone that could go back through all our episodes from earlier part in this year. But I almost guarantee you there was a week in there when Boone and I looked at each other and went, if Mahomes keeps getting hit like this, he's going to get hurt, right? Because it was very evident early on in the season. He was getting hit too early and too often. And it's never just the one hit. It's the culmination of the hits. It's the culmination of getting beat on. And so, you know, it's unfortunate, and I hate it for him. I hate it for the NFL. I hate it for everything. Like, the league is better when Patrick Mahomes is in it. I mean, hate him, love him, whatever it is, the league is better with him in it. But flipping to the Chargers side of it,
Hold on, real quick. Before you do, can I add one more thing on the parallels between Mahomes Chiefs and Brady Patriots?
Oh,
we kind of touched on this last week, but I mentioned Brady like had the ACL but foreshadowing, I didn't know this was going to happen. It was, so they were slightly different ages. When Brady tore his ACL, he was, I think, age 31 season. Mahomes is like age 29 season. But for both of them, it was year 9 in the NFL, year 8 as a starter, because they both, for different reasons, sat as backups in the first year. Both had racked up 3 championships in those first 8 years as a starter. Both had never missed the playoffs as a starter. I take that back. Brady missed them once in 2002. He missed in the middle of the dynasty. But essentially, same number of years in the league, same number of years as a start, same rings racked up in the first chapter or the first half of their career. ACL leads to kind of like a personal reset. And for the Patriots, it led to like a roster reset over 2 or 3 years where, okay, this was the first era. Now the quarterback is in his 30s, and we're getting into the next
why
era.
Are you doing this? Why are you setting it up like this?
I'm telling you, it is crazy. Like,
you're
it's
basically
the same
like, guys,
first 8 or 9 years.
If you thought it was good in the beginning, wait until the end. It's about to get even crazier.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to
guarantee
a 15 additional year run like Tom Brady had.
But you're right. What's to make us think that can't happen? You have the great infrastructure of coaches, right? And it looks like Spags is probably going to be staying. Like, You have the coaches there. You have the talent there. The question becomes, can you keep the cap? And as long as the quarterback is like, I'm cool making less than the most in the NFL, it sounds like they could do that. And that's what's so scary. It's like, Mackey, we haven't even gotten to enjoy the full season without hearing them in the playoffs, and you're already like, wait to see what happens in 2 years. They're about to take over for another 10. And it's like, no,
the bad news is you're
not understanding.
The Patriots didn't win another playoff game until like 3 years after Brady's ACL surgery, because it took them a minute to figure
catch
out, all right, what do we
themselves.
have
I
now?
know,
What's
I
going on here?
know. I know, and that's just enough time for your Vikings to get in here and mess it all up. I got
hold
it.
on. No, we're not going there yet. That's an instigator. I don't have a balance strategy.
Oh, that's a sensitive. That is a sensitive. Look at that. He's sensitive.
Do we want to go there yet, or do we not
Nope.
want to finish on the happy side of the Chargers? Like,
Let's keep going. Keep going.
Go.
They are back into it. Like, before we move off of this game completely, as much as yes, Mahomes did his thing. Like, but that Chargers defense stood up. That Chargers defense found ways to fluster Mahomes, get to Mahomes.
Yeah, they did.
They're getting healthy at the right time. And so much about this is like, yes, they're missing key pieces, but those pieces are gone. But getting Omari and Hampton back, right? Like Justin Herbert, for I know he still has the hand, but he's still out there slinging it. This team is built to last. And I think that goes back to your point with what Harbaugh does and how he works through that. But this is a team that is very much in contention to go and be in the playoffs. They're going to have to go on the road because again, stand by it. Road runs through Denver, right? So they're going to have to go on the road to figure it out. But man, this is a really good football team, very good football team.
You know what it is though about them, and honestly, because you're hearing about guys that's showing up like Lambert Smith, and you're like, who is this guy? And they're like, it's his first touchdown ever. It's the fact that Harbaugh puts belief in you, and he's like, listen, let's just go out and be us, right? Let's just go out and do your job. Everything's going to be fine. To be honest, dude, Herbert. Still dicing it up without 2 starting tackles. Like, there's times where you're like, okay, he looks really good. Now, I will say that interception, when you know it's 8 up and everyone's coming, you know what, Jay? You got to throw that ball. Like, it's got to go. And he didn't, and the interception happens, but I'll tell you what, other than that, I thought he played a great game. And not only that, the physicalness of that defense, like Jay said, they're stepping up at the right time. Like, they were smashing the Chiefs. And you could tell it was personal. And that's what's so fun about these interconference games, is that it becomes super personal because you know these guys, right? And there's a lot riding on it. Like, the Chargers knew that if, hey, we beat these guys, we knocked them out for good, right? And the Chiefs are like, hey, we're in this. We got to stay hot. We got to stay in this. And unfortunately for the Chiefs, like, when you lose your number one guy, it's not going to happen. But I credit the Chargers because, dude, they came in physical as shit. They were prepared. They knew exactly what they had to do. Offensive line-wise, like, there was times where Herbert was under duress, but for the most part, man, the run game was there, and that's what they do. They lean so much on it that they're like, hey, we're going to build the toughness in you. Because when you go to these Chiefs games on the road late in the season, you're going to need to be fucking tough, and you got to believe, right? Like, Gadsden, he's a guy that's been showing up all year, low-key. Like, you're like, okay, all right, it's starting to come together, right? Can the defense keep Mahomes in there? And that's what I keep saying, like, it's always the same thing. Can this defense keep Mahomes down, right? And all of a sudden at the end of the game when they were celebrating, dude, you could tell that meant so much to them. And that's what Harbaugh does. He comes in and he's like, hey, anytime, any place, anybody. That's what we got to be willing to do. And that's what you can see in these Chargers. And when you talk about the playoffs, and we'll get to that way later, but like, it's a whole nother scenario for this team. But for right now, them putting the Chiefs out of contention and staying close with Jay's Broncos is awesome.
I'll tell you this: we went down a weird path on our new Football Takes podcast on the Score North Network today. Of like, so the Rams are the number 1 seed in the NFC right now. We'll see if they hang on to that. The Chargers right now are the 5 seed, and so it's probably not going to flip with Denver. If Denver wins like one more game, it looks like they're going to be the 1 seed. But if Denver gets beat at some point before Championship Sunday. And let's say the Chargers are the 5 seed, and you have a weird scenario where, like, actually, this wouldn't be weird, where it's like the Chargers get through and the Bills get through to the AFC Championship game. What happens if you have 2 Los Angeles teams that share a stadium on Championship Sunday? Have you guys ever? There's only been one other time where the NFL had to prepare for something like this, and it was back in 2008 when the Giants and the Jets, who have shared a stadium forever, were both vying for the number 1 seed in their respective conferences. Do you know what the NFL would do if both Los Angeles teams were hosting Championship Sunday?
I'm sure that they would just probably go one plays on Saturday, one plays on
Saturday.
Sunday.
It'd be Sunday, Monday night.
Yeah,
Sunday
you would
night,
just go
Monday
back
night
to
is what
back
they
because
would-
I've
yeah.
seen them come in. So when I was leaving the Vikings game at the Metrodome, they were getting ready and setting up for the when we were leaving the University of Minnesota game, they were like this crew comes in. And they just the entire stadium, all the purple goes down, all the maroon goes back up, and that's why a lot of stuff's so animated now, all pictures and all this. 'Cause
Animatronic.
they're like, hey, just take it down, put something else up, right? Like you look
They're
at the
just
New York
LED boards,
Stadium,
you can just
it's
flip 'em, yeah.
completely neutral, and there's a ton of LED boards, and you're like, they just flip everything over. It's super simple. The NFL would die to have that. Are you kidding me? They would sell that in a heartbeat. 2 games in the same city, back-to-back nights, people would go nuts. God.
That might be a better way to do it, actually. Even
There's
if it's
no
in separate
question.
cities. Sunday night, give us 2 days of championship.
If you really want chaos, you do it the doubleheader, back to back. Saturday morning, you're doing the AFC. Saturday night, you're doing the NFC. You give them enough
give like
hours.
a 3-hour window.
Just
to flip
go
it. Oh.
nuts, dude. Oh my God, I would be there. Could you imagine just football all day? Little break in between, have a little bit of E40 in there. Get me some. All right, I'm gonna play off of this, and I'm gonna say this, Jay. I apologize. You let me know where I owe you a steak and a beer. I am officially on your Broncos.
Wow.
What
Is this an apology? Are
this
you
is a
apologizing
low
for
key
him?
apology because it's kind of like, dude, I feel like Bo Nix is starting to get in there, and you're like, okay, shit, this is a problem. This is going to be an issue, right? All of a sudden, he's starting to feel himself. The defense, we obviously know they're one of the better defenses in the league, and dude, the fact that they have the number 1 seed, and Mackey, you said it, they have one more. I think it's one more win, and they'll host throughout.
Yeah.
But what they did to Green Bay, dude, and Green Bay's tough, man. And that's the one thing that, all year you're like, we've talked about this. You're looking at Green Bay and you're like, I want to like them, but that Browns game and that Carolina game. But then you start to think, maybe they just slept on those guys because they're not that good. And then you watch this last game and you're like, yo, Bo Nix. And I know that Micah Parsons went down, and I know that that's going to be a whole nother issue for them. But, dude, Bo Nix yesterday looked like he was dicing it up, and his boys were having fun. Defense was feasting. I mean, it's going to be scary to think, because if everybody has to go through Denver, that mile high, dude, that atmosphere, it's going to be insane. Jay will finally get to have fun. It's been too long for you guys.
What do you
It
mean?
really has.
What? I'm sorry.
My dad is thrilled. My dad and brother could not be happier.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't be happier in that going on there. But also, I mean, that team is also hitting its stride at the right time. I mean, that team is they found ways to gut out 1-score wins, comeback wins early in the season, and now they're finding ways to put complete wins together. And that's what you want to do as you go into December. But as you head into December, you want to not be limping your way into the playoffs. You want to be hitting stride. And if there's a team, I mean, I think the Rams, I think that the Broncos right now are the 2 teams that you look at and go, hitting stride at the right time, being healthy at the right time, playing team football at the right time. Those 2 teams right now, I mean, there's a lot of other teams you could point to in the playoff picture right now and go, question mark, question mark, question mark. Your biggest question mark right now with the Broncos is, does Bo Nix turn into a pumpkin as a second-year quarterback? That's your biggest question mark with Denver right now.
But he's so insulated because these teams, he's not Drew Brees, so I'll say that. But
No.
these last 2 years, with this being the better of the 2 Broncos teams, feels like Sean Payton's best 3 or 4 Saints teams over a couple different iterations, where you had that offense, and obviously give me 30-year-old Drew Brees back in the day over this version of Bo Nix, but it's a lot of it's quicker, sort of short, well-schemed passing plays with versatile run. RJ Harvey, versatile guy who can catch passes, and then their defense, the best Saints teams in Sean Payton's tenure there were sneaky good defenses that were ball hawking, and they were fast and swarming. And you're when you watch the Broncos, they kind of overwhelm offenses with their speed and the way that they get to the football and tackle. And this is the 2nd straight year that they've had a top 3 scoring defense too. So if you can just get enough offensively, you don't need to score 38 points necessarily. And if the road goes through Denver, they are a terrifying team to have to deal with. Kind of on the low key though. Because no one has talked about them on that level. That Jay was right. The team to go through in the AFC.
I mean, Green Bay's been playing phenomenal other than those two games, and they've been kind of like lighting it up. And you look at what Josh Jacobs has been able to do and Christian Watson since he's been coming back and all the different threats, and you're like, this is a defense that could handle that, right? They're meant to build for the pass rush. We're meant to get after your fucking quarterback, but offensively is where I start to look and go, I get it with the Drew Brees. I would take Drew Brees in his prime over a lot of people because I was there watching him like, damn, that ball flies far, right? But here's the problem. I feel like Bo is getting a really good grasp of the offense, and he's starting to be like, okay, here are my outlets, right? Because you watch the ball and starting to look a little effortless, and the touch that he has on some of these, like, whoop, the one to Patrick Surtain, I was like, holy shit, dude. They're starting to make connections as receiver.
Cortland Sutton.
It's completely opposite.
Not the
He's good.
DB.
Cortland Sutton. I know, I was like completely
Both
opposite.
good football players.
Both amazing. That catch that he had, though, that's when I was like, he's got the touch. They're in connection. He's starting to feel the offense. And once again, Sean Payton is so crazy when it comes to drawing shit up. And I feel like he's probably the most underrated OC. Like when it comes to head coaches, like everyone always talks about Dan Campbell, and you're like, oh man, Dan's great. But when you talk about what Sean Payton can do, because you go back and you watch some of these plays, and it's like, all right, you're watching like two receivers run go-go routes, and then 15 yards down the field, they switch. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's what happened. All of a sudden the safety gets pushed off by the inside guy, and the outside guy breaks in, and you're like, oh shit, they're starting to figure it out. They're starting to figure out, here's where, hey, if I can just hold up, right, offensive line's protecting well. You said it, Mackey. We have a little bit of a run game going with RJ Harvey. Like, they're starting to hit their stride, and with a young quarterback who's starting to feel himself and a ton of weapons on the outside and a defense that can get after the quarterback, that's something you need to worry about. And you need to worry about it because they're in first. And they control everybody's destiny. So you know that everything there is going to be rocking. If you get there, you're going to have to beat the shit out of them. If anything, you're going to have to run the ball and hold the ball in your possession to beat this team.
Yeah, that's going to be a steak and a beer. That's going to be a steak and a beer ode to Jeremiah.
I mean,
That was my fault. Listen, you know what? Listen. We'll talk about the collapse that is the Patriots in like 2 seconds.
Let's hear
Welcome
it.
to the
Let's
Delta
hear it.
Club.
Turn it back on.
Hold on. I got one more. No, I can't do it. They're talking. Move on.
I can't even
No,
think.
I want to hear.
I
I
can't
want to hear
even
what they're
think.
saying.
No, I don't. I was just in a fucking airport. I don't want to know what they're saying, okay? I'm going to be in them all week for lots of weeks. Turn that shit off.
Let's clean up the
Yes.
AFC here, and then we can get into other matters here. I'm going to throw out the next mic, and it
Do
is
it.
the Buffalo Bills.
Oh,
The Buffalo Bills. Dude,
Fuck you
it
guys.
looked for a minute there, man. Patriots
a hot
up
mess.
3 touchdowns. Oh my gosh, this division is changing hands a lot more easily than we thought. It still looks like the Patriots are going to get the division, but the Bills made it interesting with that comeback win yesterday. And I was doing some digging earlier on. I want to bring this to you guys here. Let's say they don't get the division, and they are either the 5 or the 6 seed.
Who are the Patriots?
And you can
Who?
apply this to the Chargers.
Who are we talking
too.
about?
The Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills.
Bills get the 5 seed. Okay.
I
got it.
think only 4 other teams in like the modern 6 seed or 7 seed playoffs. I think only 4 of those 5 or 6 seed teams have won the Super Bowl. The 2005 Steelers, the 2007 Giants, the 2010 Packers, and the 2020 Buccaneers. Now, a couple of those teams specifically had better defenses than the Bills so far this year, and I do worry a bit about the Bills' defense. But the other ingredients that those teams had, that the Bills absolutely have, are badass Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning. When Eli Manning's the worst of that group, and he's an all-time riser in January. And experienced, highly credible coaches. Mike McCarthy, Bruce Arians, who had already put in like 6 years in Arizona with some success, in Tampa Bay, Tom Coughlin, and Bill Cowher. So take your agent call. Here, I'll pop you off. Okay. So if you're gonna be a 5 or a 6 seed, which the Bills are, Booney, and they have to go on the road for 3 January road games,
Yep.
Josh Allen and Sean McDermott would be like the tandem head coach and quarterback that could roll through. All right, you got to roll through Pittsburgh. Cool. Cold weather. New England again. All right, cool. We play in Buffalo. So I almost feel like this would be a fitting way for Buffalo to finally get back to the Super Bowl and win it. Is now you got to go
all the way through the
3
road
times. Yeah.
And you said it best, dude. Like the fact that they play in such a weird state where it just snows constantly, it's cold as shit. Like there's nothing that's really going to affect them. This game last week, the tale of two halves was absolutely insane to me because there was nobody more excited. Like, finally, I won this pick'ems this week. I destroyed these guys because I think you both picked the Bills, right? And I was like, this is it. I'm going to show them. And then they came out in that halftime and he ran that ball like 70 yards, and I was like, we're screwed. We're screwed. Yeah. Sean McDermott probably went in there and he did Sean McDermott things where he's like, I'm going to cut everybody's goddamn throat. I swear to God. Right? And I was excited because the Patriots looked like they were taking steps, but this is exactly what you just said, Mackey. This is a playoff atmosphere game, right? Like there's a lot on the line. Instantly, you look at the Patriots, and maybe I'm pushing this into the universe, and if I am, I don't mean to, Vrabel, because I love you to death and I love what you're doing with this team. But this is what scares me about them in the playoffs. You had a 3-touchdown lead at one point, and you let that slip, and it's like, guys, if you think the playoffs are going to be any better, you're crazy, because it's ratcheted up to a whole new level. And if you start to let points slip out, teams are going to sense that, and they're going to be like, hey, we're not done yet, right? And when you put a team up against the wall and you put their backs into that corner, you better be ready to cut their damn throat and watch them bleed out, because if you don't, they're going to come back. And this was a team that Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, well-led, well-coached, they can turn around and be like, hey, Papa, enough of this shit. Right? We're back. We're doing this. We're here now. Let's go take this. And, man, they came back fighting their asses off, and I can't believe they won. I was like, there's no way that this just happened to me. But then I look at myself and I go, young quarterback, doesn't get it. And I'm not saying that it's his fault, right? But it's like, hey, these are the things that when you look at these big games, can you win the big game in the big moment? You had Josh Allen dead to rights, up 3 touchdowns, and you guys, maybe I should be saying you guys, couldn't finish them off. And that's what scares me about this team. You know what I'm saying? You're young. I know your coach is pushing the intensity, and there's no question that the turnaround that this team has had as the Patriots has been insane. Like, you look at them last year to this year, and you're like, hold on. What? This was like one of the worst teams in the NFL last year, and now we're talking about them that were upset that they just lost the 1 seed in the AFC. They were the worst team last year, and now they had the number 1 seed. Believe me, I believe in this team. But there's something different about big moments, right? And Travion Henderson can only do so much. And at some point, you're like, hey, maybe we should have just leaned on him a tiny bit more, because that kid is unbelievable. You're welcome, by the way. Where's he from?
Okay,
that's a
homer fine. That's a homer fine.
I'm kidding. Anyways, so there was something that came up, though.
Judkins ain't bad either. You guys pumped out a couple of ridiculous.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, we come from the running back state. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody loves the run game more than us, Mackey, Ohio boys. We're all about that fixed bayonet shit. But I will say this: there was something that happened in the game that bothered me, and I'm almost positive I don't have CTE as much as this guy might. But J.J. Watt started talking about how picket fence, like, this is a picket fence look, and it wasn't. It was just like a cover 2, and I was like, that's not a fence. Like, and Mackie, you even know what a fence is. It's when they're all, lined up across, and they look like little picket fences, right?
Yeah.
And he started talking about how, like, this is a picket fence look, and you got to go into this, and I was like, dude, it's not a picket fence look, and at all, it's cover 2. Picket fence is 0. Like, what are you talking about? And it ended up being like where he found him in the turkey hole for a touchdown, and I was like, dude, what is going on right now? Just really irritated me a little bit. Had to say something, especially for a defensive guy to say something stupid like that. Bothered me a little bit, but I'll check my sources, check my facts. We'll get back to it. I'm sensitive. I am sensitive today. Get off of me.
I'm saying could be
I'm being sensitive. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, but this was like if at one point the Bills were staring down the barrel of, we're on the road, we are down by 3 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. If this game doesn't turn around, we're tied for the 7 seed, holding on for dear life with the Ravens still sitting back there and the Colts still sitting back there, and so it just feels like the leverage shift in the AFC yesterday, both for the season and even for like the postseason with Mahomes. Like we saw the Buffalo Bills rise from the dead within minutes of the Kansas City Chiefs out booted for the season and going into a 10-month rehab for their quarterback. So this has to be the year for the Bills. If it's not, I don't know what is. There's a very good chance that not only is Kansas City not going to be part of this bracket, Booney, but the Ravens at 7-7 are a long shot after losing to the Steelers last week.
Yep.
So you are. This is the only time in the Josh Allen era where you are guaranteed to be without Patrick Mahomes standing in that bracket, and maybe even Lamar Jackson standing in that bracket. There are still some teams that can do damage to you, but like, go get your Super Bowl now while the opportunity is staring at you.
Here's my question right now: who's winning the South, AFC South? Is it Jacksonville still in the league?
Yeah, 10-4.
So,
They're a game
let me
up
get
on
this
Houston.
straight. The number 1 team right now is Bo Nix, okay, second-year quarterback. The number 3 team then should be Jacksonville, which is Trevor Lawrence. Has he been to the playoffs yet?
Yeah, they didn't they blow? Did he? Who blew the 20-point? The Chargers blew the 20-point lead to Trevor Lawrence a couple years ago. But yes, they did go a couple years ago.
Okay, so he's one game, inexperienced.
Drake May is the 2 seed right now.
Drake May is the 2 seed. He'd never been in the playoffs. Dude, then you're looking like Josh Allen's at 5. This guy who's had a ton of years. Lamar Jackson might not be. You might be the most credited AFC quarterback in this playoffs. I promise you that meeting starts like this. Guys, if we don't win it this year, we should all quit. Seriously. Like, we need to quit. This is our best chance, like you said, Becky. We are going against a ton of young quarterbacks. I mean, what I love about them, too, is that there's at times I feel like at times they panic and maybe put the ball a little bit too much in Josh Allen's hands and try to ask him to do too much. But then there's times where they go 50-50 with the Dalvin Cook, and you're like, okay, or not Dalvin, the James Cook, and you're like, dude, this is the formula, right? Number 1, you're blowing the time. You're just letting it tick, 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 tick. Number 2, anytime you give James Cook the ball, something dangerous could happen. You could be duo. He's that explosive. He's that shifty that you're like, okay, this could be good. And 3, it sets up everything in the play action, which is their offense, right? And you talk about their offense, and they have a bunch of receivers that are, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but mid-level receivers, right? You don't have any like crazy CD Lambs or anything like that. You have like Shakirs, and you're like, okay, I like this. They're mostly made up of their tight end group. And that's why you're like, man, the minute that they start doing this run the ball to play action to, hey, if we need to, Josh, you can stand back here in the gun, and hey, if it's not open, just run for it, right? Like, they're such a dangerous offense. What scares me is their defense, and it's this run game, and it's the fact that you're letting these dudes just run the ball all over the place, and it's like, dude, when you get into the playoffs, what is everybody going to do to start the game? Hey, let's calm the jitters down. Let's run the ball a little bit, right? Let's have some fun. Let's toss it out here. Let's do a little bit of duo. Let's do some mic. If you can't stop that, there's going to be problems, right? And then you're forcing them into this Josh Allen Superman situation again, where it's like, don't make him have to be Superman all the time, because eventually it's going to fluster his brain. We've seen this. Like, there goes these mad stages where he does great for a long time, and then all of a sudden you just see a couple games where you're like, you're like, whoa, 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 and then he'll go back up again. But then you worry that if eventually you hit that bad stage in the playoffs, it's like, now what? Right now, what are you going to do? And not only that, but your defense is not good against the run, which is scaring me a little bit. There's a lot to be desired with this team, in my opinion. Like, I'm like, listen, you almost lost to the Patriots badly. Like, if the Patriots didn't shit down their leg as bad as they did, we wouldn't be talking like this, because they were up 3 tutties in the first half. Not even going to get to it. But yes, they're still a dangerous team, because that's what they do. They come back. They're never out until they're out. Until the clock says 0-0-0-0, you're like, I don't know, man. The guy could throw the ball sideways, crooked. Kincaid could come out of nowhere. Dawson knocked such a great pick. It's crazy to think that, like, this team revolves around their tight ends. You're like, man,
I love it.
Guys, I do too.
I mean, the Patriots really started doing that, like, with their 12 personnel back, 10, 12 years ago.
Long time
but you're
ago.
Seeing, like, with Buffalo, I mean, the Rams are the ultimate example, and we'll get to the Vikings. The Vikings finally, the last couple weeks, have kind of leaned more into it. It's becoming much more of a trend. If you've got tight ends that you feel like can catch a pass against a linebacker,
there you go. It's the mismatch, right? It's the
you can run the ball, obviously, with 2-3 tight ends, but then you can, if you have a quarterback too that can get the ball to those guys, you can throw it out of those sets, dude.
And I love it. And like you said, because number 1, it's a mismatch, but 2, you still get to keep these personnels out there that force the defense into a what am I going to do, right? Like, we've been talking about it for a couple weeks, this 13 personnel, right? 1 running back, 3 tight ends. Instantly, people are thinking, oh, this is a run, right? They're going to run the ball. There's 3 bigs on the field. Well, 13 now is almost like 11, right? Like, the tendencies or not the tendencies, but the trendiness now is like, find me 3 speedy tight ends, right? Like, who could somewhat block, like, dude, Tucker Kraft, Musgrave, like, even the Packers are doing it. Everybody's starting to jump on board with this, like, hey, we can put the defense in a bind, because if they put base, well, we're just going to throw the ball. They don't have their nickel out there to stop us, right? They put nickel out there, we're just going to run blunt read, and they're just going to death themselves by 1,000 cuts of, like, oh, are we going to keep playing it this way? And then all of a sudden the big thing's open through play action, right? it's so fun, but at the same time, it's crazy because I feel like the Chiefs are the complete opposite. And for years, it's been 11 personnel. And you're like, man, these guys can't run the ball for shit. Yeah, they'll run it 30 times, and it'll be 2 yards a run. And Kareem Hunt slamming his head against the ball or against the wall. But you're like, all right, I get it. Like, they have to eventually run the ball to keep the defense honest. But for the most part, they run out of 11, right? And they've been the kings of everything. And now it's like the Rams are really – they're kicking the shit out of people, and they run 13 a lot, right? And all of a sudden you're like, I get it.
The Rams and the Bills, and I don't have like the Rams run a lot of 13, which is 3 tight ends, like you said.
Love it.
But I think the Rams heading into yesterday had like 11 touchdown receptions, 2 tight ends. And every which direction you looked yesterday, it felt like there was a tight end catching a pass for 23 yards. But the Bills, kind of the same deal. The Bills, Kincaid and Knox are 2 of their
don't forget Haas.
4 leading receivers. But
anybody named Haas is cool with me.
Jackson Haas has 3 touchdowns. So they have 11 touchdown receptions by tight ends in Buffalo too.
Dude.
So, and it doesn't have to just be a red zone thing. I mean, the Rams are busting it out between the 20s to move the ball in chunks.
Yeah.
It's heading that direction, dude.
A lot of that too is, with them, I feel like most teams, they have this like 1-2 read, right? Like they're like, I can run the ball, I can pass the ball. I feel like with them, they always have that third read where Josh Allen's like, or I could just run the ball, right? Like, who's going to tackle me, right? He's just so fearless at times that you're like, you really do make defenses have to think, how do we want to play this guy, right? Are we going to try and man up everybody and just focus on not letting Josh run around? Are we going to try and play some zone and get after him a little bit? Like, what do we want to do? They put defenses in such a conundrum that it would be such a shame if the defense failed them this year by letting somebody just run for 250 yards in the playoffs and like losing in the first round. Like, and that's another thing, like, all of a sudden, and I know this is way premature, and I'm not even trying to be this guy, but it's like, dude, assuming something like that happened, do you look at Sean McDermott and go, God, dude, are we doing this again? Like,
yeah, I would say that's an interest. That might be for Hot Take Tuesday.
I know.
Like,
I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it.
If the Bills get bounced in the right now, if the playoffs started today,
you said they're 5.
They'd be a 6 seed because the Chargers are the 5 with a tiebreaker. So the first round matchup would be you'd have Texans at Patriots, and then you'd have Bills at Jaguars. If the Bills were to lose that first round game at Jacksonville, I do think it opens up questions about, okay, what are we doing? And if the Bills are going to win a Super Bowl, are the right figures in place?
I don't even want to talk about this anymore because I'm getting nervous. I'm not talking about this. I'm not doing this. I didn't start this.
Wait a minute, you're the
Sean,
one that every week
wants
to fire someone's ass on this show.
Listen.
Look how nervous you are.
I'm getting nervous because I could see that happening, and then all of a sudden I'm like, no, seriously, what do they say to him? Because if you lose to Trevor Lawrence,
he'd get a job in 10 seconds.
I know he would, but at some point it's like the Pagulas would be like, dude, Trevor Lawrence beat us. Seriously,
what are we doing here, guy?
This guy hasn't won since he was at Clemson. I don't know, what are we doing? It'll be interesting. I think there's still a lot to be. There's a ton of football left to be played. Right? There's so many important games coming down, and I know everyone's like, oh, there's a big chance the Broncos take it. It's like, listen, we still don't know, right? Teams, you don't know what they're doing during the week. You don't know who they overlook. At the same time, there's a lot of football left to be played, and the way these refs are reffing shit, you don't know which way it's going to go, okay? Yeah. Touchdowns that we're looking at are not touchdowns or touchdowns. I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm even looking at anymore. What's a catch? Okay, got it. It's Mackey, it's killing me.
By the way, speaking of tight ends, I want to tell the audience about tonight's numbers on Underdog. So Underdog is a great place if you want to win money, have fun while watching football. So that big 300-pound monster tight end, Washington, with the Steelers, 22.5 receiving yards. You select higher or lower on that. I think against the Dolphins, I'm going higher on the 20. It just takes one good bowling ball, little bubble screen or something to that guy. But that's it. You open up the Underdog app. You pick whether your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, receiving yards, whatever it may be. And you pick multiple players. You get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Download the Underdog app today. Sign up with the promo code OLINE to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code OLINE on the Underdog app. Underdog, make picks and win. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org in New York, or call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. One more shout out to you here before we get back into our mics on this Monday. Menards, we're partnered with Menards here on O-Line Committee. And Menards is your one-stop shop for everything for your car. And that includes Splash windshield washer fluid. If you're planning a road trip or you're driving around running errands, whatever it is, and it's up here in the Midwest, it's sloppy, windshields are grimy and gross. You want to make sure you've got, for sure, your Splash windshield washer fluid filled up in your car, but an extra bottle for the rest of the season too, so you can see safely wherever you choose to drive. So head to Menards today and stock up on Splash windshield washer fluid, because performance matters on the road and beyond.
Oh,
I think our guy Jay took an agent call.
It's okay. It's okay.
He pieced out. I was saving the Vikings conversation because I was hoping that he would just like publicly apologize.
We could talk about another game.
All of his hating.
I want to wait to let him apologize because 9 was.
I don't
cooking.
know if he's jumping back in. Let's do.
He will.
Let's save it for like 10 or 15 minutes. If he's not here, we'll talk.
Let's do the other NFC North team, shall we?
Okay.
Let's do the one where we were like, this Jared Goff matchup's going to be great, and then all of a sudden the Rams came out, and I was like, oh my geez, dude, this team looks tough, bro. Team looks real tough.
Well,
Puka.
Okay.
And Puka's now hurt. Where does this happen? Yeah. What did this come out of?
Injuries kind of. Here's what makes me nervous about, and I'll throw the Packers in because like going into yesterday, the top two teams in the NFC were the Rams and the Packers based on seeding, and now the Bears have flipped back into the 2 seed after yesterday. But you had Packers lose Micah Parsons, and then even though the Rams looked wildly impressive, beating the Lions, getting to 11-3, Devontae Adams, who's been one of the best, I mean, he's one of the best receivers in the league, but he's one of the best red zone threats for that offense too. That hamstring injury, and I think they have a short week against Seattle on Thursday, so zero chance he plays on Thursday.
Zero.
Is there a chance this leaks into January, and then Puka Nacua, we'll see where that weird thing happens? If the Rams are fully stocked, I think they win the Super Bowl. But if they're missing one or both of those guys, Booney, they come back to the pack a little bit, don't they?
Listen. I don't know. Listen, Puka Nacua is way tougher than anyone gives him credit for. There's no way that he's going to sit out for more than a week. Am I worried? Not at all, dude. We just talked about this. This is one of those teams that loves to live in 13 personnel, right? Their tight ends can make plays. They can do things. The fact that they have Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, they're still running the ball effectively. This is a team that is like, listen, if you don't have Devontae, yeah, that could hurt. If you don't have Devontae and Puka, yeah, that could really hurt. Do I think that they can make up for it in other ways? Absolutely. Sean McVay is one of the smartest OCs in the game right now.
They're saying it's cramps, by the way. They're saying it's cramps. I don't know.
Puka Nacua is tough as shit.
It looked like it was worse than cramps, man. I don't know.
I think if they're saying cramps, then they're maybe like he's going to be fine, because there's no way you'd be like, yeah, it's cramps. He can't play this week. You'd be like, for cramps, like, dude, what?
If it's cramps, he'll be fine. If it's not, sometimes they say cramps, but I don't know.
Dude, they're going to be fine. And Devontae, maybe you rest him. You're going to have to. Obviously, he's not going to play this week. Maybe you rest him next week. I mean, this team though, they look so. He zips it in there. He's just so surgical at times. 400 yards this week, like it was nothing. It's insane. And defensively, they're playing well. I mean, they have so many exotic looks. Like their defense at times reminds me a lot of the Vikings defense, because there's dudes all over the place. There's guys running around. It's constantly who's coming, who's not. Is he not? Like it puts you on your heels to make you think, am I right or am I guessing right now? And it's a scary thought. And when you're having to turn over the ball to a guy like Matt Stafford, and all of a sudden they're just handing the ball off to Kyron Williams, and then all of a sudden here's Blake Corum, and then all of a sudden here's a naked right and a pass to Parkinson for a touchdown, and you're like, guys, they haven't even thrown the ball to Puka yet. What the hell are we doing? Like, that's the problem. There's so much going on that you go, oh, and by the way, there's a guy that seems like nobody can cover him. Do we not know that there's a guy named Puka Nacua, number 12, that we're like, this guy, just don't let this guy beat us. He had more yards in the game than probably the Lions did passing. Puka Nacua had like 200 yards, didn't he? It's like insane.
Yeah, this is the second straight. In their last 2 games, the win against the Lions, and then they went the week before they were at Arizona and they won 45-17. So the Rams offense the last 2 weeks, 86 total points and almost 11. It's 1,050 yards total in 2 games. And a lot of it too is just like we talked about earlier. They're throwing multiple tight ends. They're throwing Colby Parkinson out there. Did I see? Was it Terrence Ferguson? There was some other like random tight end out there yesterday too. And then their run game, man, like between Blake Corum, who is averaging 5.5 yards a carry this year, and Kyron Williams, who's been, he's emerged the last 2 or 3 years. They are loaded, and they've got a top high end coach. So it's on the Lions front. I'm a little nervous, dude. 8-6 now. They haven't won back-to-back games since the beginning of October. They're just kind of in this like death cycle of alternating wins and losses ever since they were 4-1.
Yeah.
And they have Pittsburgh next week. They have to go at the Vikings short week Thanksgiving, which will be their 3rd Thursday night game of the year. Just a crazy schedule for the Lions. And then they finish the season at the Chicago Bears. So, man, my Lions on the other side, it just kind of feels like, I'm not saying that they're cooked as a franchise, but they've missed a couple golden opportunities to go Super Bowl hunting. And now it's like, ooh, the odds are they're not going to make the playoffs at this point.
You know what they feel like? And I feel terrible saying this. They feel like a flat Coke. You know what I'm saying? Like when you open a Coca-Cola and you're like, this is flat. That's exactly what it feels like. Like they were so hot and so hip for the last, 2-3 years that we were like, God, this is so awesome. This is so fun. And now all of a sudden you're like, what is going on? Why are we not just giving the fucking ball to 0? I don't give a shit how we have to do it. Just give it to 0. Okay? If you got to fucking snap it directly to them, find a way to do that. And let's win some games. But then you look and it's their defense again. And it's like, that's the same thing that's been their Achilles heel for last year. I mean, dude, no question. Aiden Hutchinson's interception was insane. Like he just grabbed the shit out of that ball.
Okay,
Poof,
if he just runs and doesn't look back 100 times, does he
he's gone. He's gone. But hey, listen, for those that don't hear me say this before, blind dogs in a meat house, okay? They're who's behind me? And you're like, dude, just run, right? Awesome play. But for the most part, man, defensively, they're giving up 41 points. And I see how they do it though. Like Stafford is so surgical when he throws it to Puka, and Puka is not your average receiver. Like he's not your Rashid Rice when he gets hit, you're like, oh my God, is he dead? This dude gets hit and he gets up and he like spits on the DB and he's like, I dare you to hit me again. And it's like, this guy's crazy. How do you stop a crazy receiver from catching a ball even when he's double covered? Like that's what's so fun about them is they're hitting their stride. And I've been saying this for a while. The fact that this guy's beard is completely white is driving me nuts. Because when he just torches defenses, you're like, you're telling me that nobody can get to this guy. Now they do, and that's the other thing is he's tough as shit. And we've been saying this for years. How do you stop Matt Stafford? I don't think anyone knows. Like he's so tough and he takes these hits and you're like, I don't know if he's going to get up next play. 35-yard bomb. Hits Puka Nacua right in the face mask while 5 guys are covering him. And you're like, there's just no way to do this. Maybe it's their year again, man. Maybe this is how he rides off into the sunset. Because if anything, I thought Detroit for sure would give them that run for their money. And it just seemed like Detroit was flat again. And it's like, man, what is going on? Like Amon-Ra's on and Jamison Williams, they're on. But it's just defensively, they can't stop these big play teams. And you're like, dude, these are all the playoff teams. You got to stop them, right? We're not even in the playoffs.
Yeah, a couple things off what you're saying. On the Stafford front, he's gotten to this sweet spot where if you can get your body to hold up, whether it was the back stuff right before the season, and
which was a lie. That was bullshit.
You think he saw?
I know it was, dude. Oh, we don't know if he's gonna play this year, dude. He just threw for like 500 yards in week 16. I don't think he's missed a week. Has he missed a week?
No, he has not.
And I get it. There's weeks where he like throws for 150 yards and they lose or whatever. But it's like he's like not one time has he reached for his back where he's like, oh, this hurts. And I'm like, man, they were really just fucking with us. That's exactly what that was. That was the Rams going. That was Les Snead looking at the Niners going, don't know if he's going to make it this year, guys. Don't know.
He's gotten it to the point, though, like however it is physically, that his body is holding up enough and his mind has processed 17 years and 236 games worth of NFL defenses. He is. I mean, there aren't that many quarterbacks in the modern era who have seen as much defense as he has. And so he's like Neo in the Matrix mentally. He knows exactly what defenses are trying to do. He knows exactly what his guys are doing. And his body is allowing him at enough of a level, at a really high level still. It's such a cool thing to watch because it doesn't happen with other positions really, because your body can't hold up long enough. But for quarterbacks, you get there every once in a while. And he's there, man. Like he's leading the league with 37 touchdown passes with 3 games to go. He's going to wind up, he's 4 away from his career high. He's going to wind up with a career high for sure in touchdown passes. It looks like passer rating. He's 6 points ahead of his. But this is what happens. Like Brett Favre did this with the Vikings back in 2009, where your body is like still good enough and you've been doing it for 20 years. And you just cook the rest of the league, and if the rest of your team is good enough, boom, you're off to the races. Dude, so it's been super fun to watch.
We call this the magical years, where you're Tom Brady in Tampa, right? You're like, hey, I can see everything, just make sure no one touches me. I know where the ball's going, and I know how to get it there. And it's not like the old Peyton Manning where we were watching it, or Drew Brees where he could throw it 15 yards and that was it. He could still zing it down the field, and you're like, this dude is still got it. And you're right, Mackie. He's the knowledge that he has in his mind, and the fact that he can be like, he could probably just see the defense getting to line up, and he's like, all right, they're in 1. Got it. Here we go. I'm going to you. Offense is like, I don't even know what front it is. How the hell you know where you're going? Like, he's just so calm too. And when you talked about him being Neo, I mean, is Sean McVay not the Morpheus to that? Of like, listen, I can draw it up, right? I can show you everything, like where it's going. You just need to do it for us. I'm telling you, man, they're a special team. They get enough fire behind them. You better watch out because they're dangerous. Shit.
Yeah, and then on the Lions front, you can kind of draw a line across their schedule. They've lost hard-fought games to the best teams in the NFC, of which they are no longer, it looks like, a top NFC tier team, but their losses are Rams, Packers, Eagles, Chiefs, Packers again, and then they have another loss to the Vikings back in early November. And their wins are they have a win against Chicago, and they beat Tampa, but like their wins are mostly against Cleveland, Cincinnati, Washington, the Giants, the Cowboys last Thursday, and the Cowboys were fighting for a playoff spot. But it's like they're beating the teams that they would beat. Yeah. And they're losing to the teams that they used to be fighting for the number 1 seed with in the NFC.
So we just talked about, right? Like, you're losing to all the teams that should be in the playoffs, right? And listen, you're going to see these guys, and you're probably not going to see them at your house. So you're going to have to play on the road. And at some point, that defense is just getting drilled open, and the offense isn't putting up enough. And Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams are doing as much as they can. And I just think it comes down to the fact that you said it earlier. They had a window, and I'm not saying the window's gone, because I feel like there's enough on that team to keep around, but it's like, man, earlier, like maybe 4 weeks ago, I felt completely different about the Lions. And now I feel like I'm like, man, I don't know. I just don't even know if they're going to make it in anymore. It's like and I don't know where they stand. They have to be probably the 8th seed right now. Where are they? 8 and 6?
They are. They're the 8th seed, and they're
there's no way
game and a half behind the Packers for the 7. They have a 35% chance to make the playoffs right now, the Lions. And they play, like I said, I think they get, is it Pittsburgh, did I say? Vikings, and then they finish at Chicago. The last 2 division games are both road games. Yeah, and this could be a good segue here. The Vikings have definitely shown some life the last 2 weeks, and Jay has to bolt. He's flying.
It's fine. Here, let's do it, baby. Let's talk about 9.
He's not going to give you the formal apology.
I bet I can't make it back, guys.
But I don't know what the final story is going to be on McCarthy after 20 or 30 or 40 games. I don't know if he's going to be the franchise quarterback for the Vikings. I do know that the last 2 weeks are exactly what you were hoping to see, maybe closer to the get-go, both from the quarterback and dare I say, the coach.
I know.
I'm going to get in the weeds with you, and you can tell me if this means anything or if I'm overblowing this. The Vikings before last week, so before that Washington Commanders win 31-rip, and then they hang 34 in primetime against the Cowboys last night. And McCarthy has had passer ratings over 100. He's finally clicking in these last 2 games. Well, the Vikings going into that Washington game had the second highest percentage of 11 personnel usage. They were like 70% formations were 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers. And it was not working at all this season.
You don't say.
So Kevin O'Connell decides the last 2 weeks, you know what? Like, we're not going to not run 11. Like, we're an 11 team, but we're gonna make it more like 45 or 50% 11, and we're gonna run more tight ends, more CJ Ham fullback who scored a touchdown last night.
TD.
We're gonna go heavier personnel. We're gonna stick to the run game was not wildly effective statistically, but they stuck to it like 27 attempts or whatever it was, and just kept pounding that rock. So running the ball at a higher rate and running heavier personnel packages. And maybe it's just a coincidence, but they hang 31 and 34 points as the hot take police circle my my studio
as
right
the
now.
windows kick in, right?
Yeah. Am I onto something or onto something with this?
We've been saying this for weeks, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to finally see that it has become so simple for him to be like, let's just go a little bit more 21. Let's do a little bit of 12. Like, you see a lot of Hawkinson and Oliver on the field at the same time, and it's like, dude, this is fun, right? This is what makes things simple for him. I have to say, without a doubt, anytime CJ scores, got to give him a lot of props. Love CJ Ham, such a great dude. Hamster,
let's go.
Nah, he's the man. It's our guy. But, dude, was it me or was it you or was it everybody else that every time the run didn't do something successful, I go, that's it. He's never going to call another run again. I think there was a third down. They didn't get it. I go, that's it. He's never going to run the ball third down again.
Jet sweep to
that's what it was. It was the jet sweep. I go, God, give it to a receiver.
I love that
doesn't
play
work.
call, by the way.
Listen, I love jet sweeps. The problem is, if you're going to do it, it's got to be super quick, right? Like, you get the ball and you're up around the edge. And he, like, followed the ball all the way around the receiver. And it's like, dude, put your foot in the ground and get north and south, right? Like, that's the whole point of the job. But as soon as they got tackled for a loss, I go, that's it. He's never calling a run again. He's just going to pass the ball the rest of the game. I got so nervous. But I'm so excited to see the KOC. And I'm sure it's probably a little bit of pressure from around the building from people to be like, Kev, we got to make this easier, right? Like, we can't go down in flames like this. We have to find a way. And a lot of it is just quick throws, simple throws, right? First read, second read. Why am I making you go through all these wild things? Why am I making you run Mustang protection when we should just run 200, 300, right? And you saw last night there was a little bit of killing, right? Get up there, hey, kill. And all of a sudden everyone's talking. And it's kind of like, all right, now we're taking steps. We're moving forward. We're starting to be like, hey, we got one play, we got 2 plays. Let's go out here and see what we like based on coverage, based on front, based on scheme. And I'll tell you what, it was fun to watch because it seemed like it's super simple, but they're making plays, right? And you can tell that 9 has a little bit of angry Baker in him. Like, he throws the ball a little angry at times, and you're like, ooh, I heard the sizzle on that. That sounded sexy, right? And he's got that face where he's like I love when they zoom in on a throw and he's like got this real angry face as he's throwing the ball. And he's yeah. I will say this. He's made an emphasis to try and get the ball to JJ several times. But JJ, when you drop the ball in the end zone like that, and I know that thing was sizzling. Like, don't get me wrong.
Do you think there's too much sizzle on that?
Listen, I'm not going to get mad at the young quarterback because he wanted to make sure it got only to his receiver. I'm going to get mad at the receiver that we're like, hey, man, we know you're frustrated, and we know that ball probably would have broken your finger, but you got to catch the fucking ball, okay? Because the kid's clearly trying to get you the ball, and he's trying to dice it out everybody. I mean, dude, that throw to Naylor, that first touchdown, did you see how he thread that? And don't get me wrong, might have been an INT if the DB was really paying attention, but it's like he has the guts to go out and be like, I'll make this throw. As long as you keep it simple, you should be winning, right? He wants to dice up these teams. He's quick to be like, man, I'm competitive. I could put it in there, right? It's fun to watch, and then you pair that with a little bit of like, hey, 3rd and 1, let's just run the fucking ball, right? We don't need to get crazy anymore. That's what makes this so
you insulate him.
Yes.
That's what they're doing, and it's and
some
of it's
and
him just developing.
Dude, did you see? Now I will say this: there's times where like, eventually Dak was like, "Just wait, everybody, just wait." The safety's 40 years old. He's gonna tell us what they're doing. So he'd be like, "Hut, here we go, hut." Like no set, and all of a sudden you just see Harry slowly running back, and you'd be like, "Okay, so it's not all it's not all out pressure."
Harry's ordering an Uber back to the cover 2 spot.
He's just waiting till like 2 or 3 seconds, and you saw him staring right at Harry, like, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" Right, and then like towards the the end of the snap count, you would see Harry's either stay in and he's like, okay, it's all out, or Harry just starts to slowly back up and he's like,
gets back in his little motorized shopping
right?
cart. Goes
all right,
back.
it's one. I got this. Here we go. Boom. Like, dude, it was so funny. But hey, man, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, because if you're a Vikings fan, enjoy the fact that B-Flow is here right now, okay? Because I can't promise you that he's going to be here for long. Because when you talk about putting them kind of in a blender, and at times like the defensive chemistry and the fact that they didn't have their starting left tackle, and now all of a sudden it's like guys are coming, they're going, the ins, the outs, like it's so fun to watch. And at the same time, you're like, dude, there's no way he's going to stay. Someone's going to want him as a head coach somewhere to fix their defense, to do something. He's a hell of a coach, and he's, once again, that Dallas has been destroying people. Like, we've been like, all right, man, they've been on fire for a while. And last week versus the Lions, it was like, okay, maybe they're coming back down to earth. But for the Vikings to come in, and maybe I was the only one that was kind of like, holy shit, the Vikings dismantling the Cowboys right now? Like, what's going on with this?
The stats don't do justice. Like, if you look at if you didn't watch the game, you're like, oh wow, Dak threw for like 300. They kind of gashed the Vikings on the ground a little bit, 5 yards a carry. But it was the red zone defense, and it was the third down defense where B-Flow sometimes he's willing to give you some openings between the 20s. But last night, I think the Vikings were like 2 for 5 in the red zone on defense, and making the Cowboys either go for it or kick field goals. And then the Cowboys were only 2 for 12 on third down. And a couple of those were like short yardage too, that you kind of chalk it up to the Cowboys. So,
well, not only that, but when you talk about the running the game, like, yeah, I get it. Like, at some point I was like, man, if Dallas is going to win this game, they're just going to give the ball to Javonte Williams, because it felt like every time they gave it to him was an 11-yard run, right? And they were running simple inside zone, and they were just running that ball off the B block. And you're like, okay, this is going to be a problem. But that's what you have in the B-Flow defense when you don't have any big run stoppers in there, right? A lot of what he does is based on this whole like chess match, right? Like, who's up, who's coming, who's not coming. Here's one look. Here's a completely different look. Here's a completely different look, right? It's not like, here are two big beef eaters in the middle that are going to stop shit. And that's why you're right. The stats probably looked terrible, but when you watch that game, you could tell Dak was really having to focus and be like I said, he's having to take the clock all the way down to be like, what the fuck coverage is this? Right? Because nobody's moving, and he's like, there's no way this is 8 up. And sure as shit, here goes Harry, right? But that's putting him in that blender of being like, okay, it's not 0. What are we doing here? Okay, we're going here. Boom, right? And all of a sudden, it's just another step that the Cowboys have to take. And I mean, I thought it was great. I really did, because I thought for sure Dallas they were gonna sweep the floor. I was like, man, they're gonna get after 9. They're gonna shut some shit down. They're gonna tear it up all over the place. And like you said, between the 20s, I feel like there's a lot of defenses that are like, yeah, sure, go ahead, take all this, take all you want, right? But once you get to the 20, that's when they're like, okay, now we see what you're made of.
It's also kind of funny, like in today's NFL, between the 20s is now outdated, because it was meant when a touchback used to take the ball to the 20, which is like probably the start of your career, and you literally have to go from 120 all the way down. It's like 60 yards to get to the other 20. And there's all this space. Well, most drives now start at the 30 or like the 35, maybe the 25. So if you're a defense, you're like, well, okay, our job, it's 2 completions, and with the way that these kickers are going too, it's literally like 2 completions or 2 first downs, and you're in field goal range. Yeah. So our job is less about stopping them from gaining any yards in this middle area, and it's more about making sure that on the high leverage, the third downs and the red zone, we are stout in those areas more than anything. And
absolutely,
the Vikings were last night. And by the way, the Cowboys pretty much cooked. They have to, for them to make the playoffs, they have to win the division. They'd have to win out, including Chargers. I think it's Chargers and then maybe Commanders, Giants. But the Eagles would have to lose out both games to the Commanders, and then they play the Bills for that other one. So, it was a fun roller coaster season for the Cowboys with a bunch of crazy trades, but back to the drawing board for one more offseason.
Unfortunately, and you know what? They had a good fight. It's just crazy to think that the Vikings took them down. I was like, man, this is this is 9 hitting his stride, right? This is 9 going, okay, this is me doing my thing. I really was blown away. I was like, oh my God, the Cowboys really losing this game right now? Like, they know that their season's on the line, right? Like, the Vikings have nothing to lose here. They're just out here slinging it. And it's like you said, I don't know what's going to happen over the next season and a half. I just know that when J.J. McCarthy has a simple read and a simple play and he's on fire, boy, he's dangerous. Right, like all of a sudden you're like, man, he can really throw it in there, and he'll put some goddamn gusto on it. And to go into Dallas last night on Sunday Night Football and show up against Dak, who's been tearing it up, and yeah, maybe he was tearing it up in between the hashes. That's great, but he wasn't putting up enough points to win that game and keep his team alive. And that's where it's like, man, this is interesting, and it's crazy because I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole of like, I want to know how pissed off you are, because now that the formula's kind of been laid out, it's like, okay, listen. This could have been the formula week 1. I'm not really sure why we had to go to advanced chemistry 305, right? Like
it's annoying to me. I do think Kevin O'Connell has largely in 4 years done a great job as a leader, he can galvanize locker rooms. I think you find out this time of year, and yesterday there were some great examples of which teams are fully bought in still, even if you're out of the playoffs, and which teams are like, all right, yeah, we're just kind of waiting for the season to be over. And the Vikings are definitely still pushing for pride. They're pushing for wins, and Kevin still has the locker room. But yeah, like if you were to have taken, that they lost a game by 8 points to the Ravens at home like 2 months ago, where they called 48 pass plays, most of them 11 personnel, and McCarthy was kind of swallowed up. And it's almost like he came in, Kevin O'Connell, and said, "Hey, this is my badass system." And Cousins ran it, Darnold ran it, and now you're going to step in and run it the way that I want it to be run. And for them to not have a gauge on that being difficult at the beginning of the year is a red mark on the coaching staff. But then for it to be obvious after a few games, now this is too much for him to run it the way you want it to be run, meet him in the middle. And the irony of it is they're scoring more points, kind of meeting him halfway and winning games. Like, it's not that they're winning games 16-13. They've scored 65 points doing it this way the last couple weeks.
I know, dude. They're destroying, and that's the problem. Is like, it's crazy that it's crazy that the minute you simplified it, it became so relevant that it was like, oh my God, this is insane. They're scoring so many points, and why did we not do this sooner? Like, especially because everybody was kind of like, maybe it's just too much for the rookie at first, right? Maybe it's a lot. It's kind of like, I keep thinking of Nick Sirianni when he first took the job, and it was Jalen Hurts, and he did the same thing, throwing it like 55 times in the first game, and everybody was like, what in the hell are you doing, you dumb ass? By like week 3, he was running it 55 times because he was like, okay, you're right. This is the exact opposite. And maybe Kevin thought, hey, it'll break. Let's just give it time. But now truly that like, they're going through it, and they're like, hey, man, just simplify it, right? Keep him on the run. You can still do your rolls. You can do your nakeds for your big plays. Like, they're there. But, man, just hand the ball off a little bit more. Keep things simple. It's crazy, too, because it's – before maybe 3 weeks ago, we were like, man, they need to bring another quarterback in, right? Like, they need to do some competition. And now you're kind of like, do they?
Yeah.
Do they need to bring a quarterback in? I don't know.
What does – I'm assuming he's gonna in the next 3 games. Like there'll probably be some low spots again. That's the big thing.
Who do they finish with? Because they finished with Chicago, right? They have Chicago.
It's Giants this week. Then it's Lions on Christmas, short week, and then it's Chicago. Or I'm sorry, it's Green Bay to end the season.
So it's Giants, Chicago, Giants, Detroit,
Giants, Lions, Packers.
All right, so we're not going to find out this week. And here's another thing. Like, you look at the last 2 teams that they've played, and you're like, am I overlooking this? Like, Washington, right?
See, I fought Judd on this a little bit, and maybe you tell me I'm an idiot. I know that where I will concede is, like, I know that some teams, guys are kind of whatever, like, maybe the culture is sour, or they know the coach is gone or whatever. I don't look at Washington that way. I feel like Washington they're depleted. But, dude, Zach Ertz was balling on an injury cart because his season and career were probably over. Bobby Wagner's blowing up run plays. That Washington team the week before the Vikings beat them 31-0 was a 2-point conversion away from upsetting the Broncos. They go in, okay, they beat the Giants, showing that they care more about winning than tanking. Like, I think I put Washington in a bin of struggling, down, but not quitting and out. There's some other teams I would look at yesterday and say, Cincinnati, I don't know if we're
don't even.
I don't know if we're all mentally there.
We're
today,
not there. We're not there.
Cincinnati,
Especially after when Joe Burrow's like, yeah, football's fun. Sure. Do I have to
so
be
much
here?
fun,
Right.
Yeah.
The whole team's like, do we have to be? If he doesn't have to be here, do I have to be here? Yeah, and you know me. I hate doing this. Like, are they good? But I look at this and I'm like, okay, well, all year we've been bitching the Cowboys' defense sucks, and they keep letting up over 30 points. And if they had a defense, their offense would be good. But if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. And it's like, but now the Vikings beat them, and this is why I hate this conundrum. It's like the Mike Daniels down in Miami. They're starting to win games, and people are like, do we keep him now? Do we fire him? Like, you're stuck in this middle ground of like, do we trade for Mac Jones? Do we not trade for Mac? Like, is this a dumb trade? Is this a good trade? Like, I hate this. But I think when you talk about the Lions game, that's where you're going to get a real definitive look and be like, okay, real game. We're in this divisional game. If not that game, Chicago, right? Chicago's one of those teams playing tough, and you're like, they beat the shit out of Cleveland. Not to say that Cleveland's anything either, but it's like, once again, we'll have more of a definitive answer. So I love what the Vikings are doing. I'm pissed as hell they didn't do this earlier, but it's like, okay, I see now that it can work, right? It makes a lot of sense. Took no sacks yesterday, starting to look really good. I'm liking this. Let's see what you do next week. But then you look next week and you're like, oh, the Giants. Fuck. Is Mike Kafka going to get up there and give me a fake speech? Fuck.
If you take these last 5 games, starting with Washington, if there is a game where it's like, okay, that's like the lowest level of competition, it would probably be the Giants game. But it's also, dude, these are NFL players playing for contracts, playing for putting stuff on film. And you know what you do? Just like, let's say you put the Commanders game in that bin. The Cowboys were fighting for their playoff lives after beating a couple good teams in previous weeks. But if you put the Commanders in that bin, that's okay. Then don't win 13-12. Beat them 31. Go score 31 points and beat the hell out of them. So maybe that's the bar for the Giants is, if we're deeming the Giants to be sort of checked out or whatever it may be, and they're really bad, whatever, okay, like go score 30 points on them too and make it impressive. I just think there's a lot to be learned going into the offseason, and the vibes, the difference in him playing really well for most of 5 games going into the offseason, it's such an exhale, and I think it removes the idea of like trading a second round pick for Mac Jones desperately.
No, I think
you can avoid those scenarios.
You're right, Mackie. When you talk about, like, even if Washington was a shitty team, even if they're a good team, and you talk about even if the Cowboys are a shitty defense, you beat the piss out of them. You scored over 30 points. Like, you did exactly what everyone was like, oh, yeah? You think you're good? Go beat the shit out of them. Score more than 30 points on their defense. And you did 2 weeks in a row, and it's like, boy, we might have a problem, right? Maybe you're right. Maybe it's like, you know what, Mac? It would have been great. We're good, right? Stay where you are. We're going to keep this guy here. Somebody will turn up for us. 3 games left, enough time to prove to the team, like, hey, this is my role going forward, right? I can continue this role. Just let's dumb it down a little bit, right? I am from Michigan. We saw what happened with my head coach, right? They don't do this type of shit at Ohio State. I'm kidding. Shots fired.
Yeah, my goodness.
Wow, hit me with the sensitive. Do it. Go ahead. Oh, wait, we beat him this year. I'm not sensitive. Forgot.
We got time for one more here, and anything else we didn't get to, we'll get to.
Oh,
stuff
are we
Tuesday
doing
Hottest
this?
Takes.
Are we doing the Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, we have to.
Are we going to do the
next
grandpa out there that was like slinging
44
it?
years old.
Sitting here, one of these like Uncle Rico's.
He was
fucking hilarious.
I thought it was going to be a bigger disaster. They insulated him well. They ran the ball a ton on first and second down.
We knew they would.
And he, his arm angle's always been kind of weird. He definitely has the Uncle Rico thing, but he put them he made a nice back shoulder throw on that last drive, left side. He gets them just close enough in field goal range. They nail the 60-yarder to go up. Defense gives it up on the way back, and
they've been playing so tough.
They get the ball back again with like maybe two plays, and it was not the most accurate final pass, the interception, but the zip on that final pass over the middle that if it's caught by a Colt probably puts them back in field goal range. For a guy that hasn't played in 5 years, he's 44. Credit for him resetting the NFL insurance clock now for another 5 years for his whole family. I was color me impressed, Booney. Phillip Rivers.
I was so impressed. He got out there. He looked like old Phillip, just the same old arm slot, right? This quick, like, am I? I'm not sure. I thought they did a great job of protecting him. I thought the defense played outstanding.
Yeah.
Like to start the game, I thought that they were, and you know what it was? They were looking around like, dude, we got to do something. This guy's 45 years old. Some of us has got to show up. Latu was doing everything he could, but the way that game ended, right? They drive down, they kick that field goal. You're like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that this guy not playing for 5 years comes in and beats one of the better NFC teams. And for them to come back and drive all the way down the field, kick that field goal, I was like, son of a bitch. I wanted him to win so bad. Just because I thought people don't never understand what it's like to stand back there and have grown men trying to kill you. But to come out of retirement after 5 years, after you made $300 million, you know that motherfucker just loves ball. Like, you know he just wants to stand in the pocket and be like, new mark, right there. Like, dude, this stuff is just so funny. And I love him. I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer now in my book because, in my opinion, a Hall of Famer is someone that says anytime, any place, anywhere. I don't give a fuck if I need my grandkids to walk me to the game. Like, dude.
He's that. Yeah.
He's that dude, man. And credit Shane Steichen, too, for being, like, I think they came out later in the week and said Riley Leonard was fine, right? And I honestly, I don't know Riley Leonard for anything, but I think that watching Phillip Rivers, like, dude, he gave them a good chance to win that game in Seattle. That's a hard fucking place to play. Shout out to Shane Steichen for bringing him back. I mean, we all thought it was crazy. He looks fat as shit, and I love it. Welcome to the old line, you pudgy bastard. I'm here for it, man. Get some.
It was fun, man. And there's still like a 12% chance for them, according to ESPN, to make the playoff. They have to win the next 3 games.
You stop it.
But they're going to ride with them. They're going to ride with it. What is their,
oh, you have
they
to.
play? I think they have a brutal.
I'm looking right now. They play the Niners, then the Jaguars, then the Texans. So yeah, they're not going anywhere. I know. Listen, you've never seen a team go from all the way up here to all the way down here. But you know what? In between, they brought Phillip Rivers back. So shout out to you guys.
Are
for what
they,
you did.
dude? They're going to finish.
And hey, was it this
8-2?
Did it this?
They're going to finish 8-9. Oh
did
man,
it?
that's so sad.
Didn't the defense hold them to no touchdowns too?
Yeah, it was 6 made field goals by.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they did everything they
Myers.
could to. They were like, Phil, we're trying, man, just one more.
This
God,
is maybe
love it.
I might put something together for you guys tomorrow, but the level of kicking in the NFL right now is insane. These dudes are like you walk that ball past the 50-yard line, and these guys are like, I got this. Unless
you're Brandon Aubrey. Which, by the way, we need to stop talking about how good they are because that's when they miss them. It's like, oh, this guy's automatic. Oh, my God, he missed it. It's like, Jesus, shut up. You're annoying us.
The all-time example, the 1998 NFC Championship game, Gary Anderson had not missed a kick all season, and Pat Summerall, basically to clinch a trip to the Super Bowl, Vikings and Falcons, and Pat Summerall, it's all over YouTube, you can find it. And here's Gary Anderson, the veteran kicker, 38-yard field goal attempt. He hasn't missed one all season, John. Wide left. And here come the Falcons back down the field. But yeah, Phillip Rivers, man, that dude went out on his shield yesterday, with his high school team watching on TV, or middle school team, whatever it was.
Did you hear him too?
It was fun.
He's like, man, I just hope, I just hope them kids back home, they see I'm not a wimp. I'm not like that. You know, I got balls. I'm here. I'm gonna do it. I was like, dude, this guy is great. I would love to block for him. Could you imagine him in the huddle? Hey, y'all. All right, now listen, don't let me get hit. All right, take care of me. Dude, Uncle Rico.
He's got 3 flak jackets on.
I gotta get a Phillip Rivers jersey now. God, Uncle Rico, my guy.
Dude, come in. All right, Booney, good stuff. For Jay, traveling Jay, jumping in from New York Airport. We'll jump back in with our Hottest Takes Tuesday edition tomorrow. Click that like button, the subscribe button here on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. And we've got holiday merch at OlineCommittee.com. If you want, you can use the promo code HOLIDAY to get 15% off your purchase at OlineCommittee.com. Shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, backpacks, all the good stuff. And we'll see you next time here on the O-Line Committee.